And I say, hey guys, I'm the one on your website. Yeah, man, this picture inspired us so hard that we had to make a change in our festival.
Hello, Robbe. Long time no see.
Hello.
Please tell us about yourself.
Hello, my name is Robbe Van Bogaert, and I'm based in Antwerp, Belgium. What I do in life, I'm the founder of EVENTSURE. What we do with EVENTSURE, we are a community platform, and what we do, we actually help organizers in the adventure of organizing events. We focus on helping governments, helping nightlife people, creating clubs. We also have EVENTSURE Academy where we train people. And next to that, I also work for the city of Antwerp, and I'm a nightlife expert, specialized in guiding youngsters in organizing events. And I have a personal project, not an EVENTSURE project, but a personal activist project where I speak and play as a DJ with pumping techno and raising my activist voice to promote accessibility in the nightlife. My problem is I have a disorder. It's a genetically disorder, and it's a multi-epiphyseal dysplasia. So to all you, please raise your hand. So if you raise your hand, please go to the inside of your hands. And now, please switch all to the other side, 90 degrees. Yeah. And I do the same. And I'm stuck. So I can't move my hand more than 45 degrees because here it's stuck. And it's the same with my feet. I can't move my feet more. But this is my bike. And with my bike, I travel around the world, and I love to travel. And I use this thing the same as you, as a bike, because I need it for long distance.
How did you end up in the club scene?
Oh, good question. Actually, I started up in the club scene and being a DJ when I was 5 or 6 years old, switching the light on and off the whole time in my room till it was broke, and playing new beat tapes. So it was a time of new beat. And actually, I'm raised by two fathers a little bit. My biologically father was a DJ, and he ran the shop, and he was always busy. Sometimes not to have too much time for me, so he put me behind in the shop at the back behind the DJ booth so I could play with records. But sometimes I was stuck behind the DJ booth because I couldn't get off, and he was busy in the shop, so I stand there for hours and hours and hours and hours. Yeah, and then you become a DJ. But then actually I don't see my father anymore for many years. It is what it is. But I had my real father, my raising father, and yeah, he raised me very good together with my brothers and my adopted sister. And yeah, he was a social worker, and he helped me to have a vision on social work. And that's what I try to do today, is being in the nightlife as a DJ, as an activist, but at the other side also try to help people about helping them in the nights and guiding them with information.
When did you start this project?
The Human Power Project, to be honest, it's a story because I fight it all my life to get rid of this chair. So I start walking, I've been operating, and for me a mentally game was I always put this bike in the back of my garage full with mud of a festival, because most of the time I use it for a festival, to visit a festival. And everybody was like, yeah, why you don't clean your wheelchair? I said, no, I only clean it the moment that I'm gonna reuse it. And most of the time it was just sand after a while, because I didn't use it anymore for 9 months. Could have my life. But the moment when I was really like, okay, maybe I can make a change in society was, I'm a boomer, Boom Festival, Portugal. I'm DJing there some years. And actually, I was playing with another project, DJ project Twisters. We were 2 DJs doing scratching, juggling with techno. But we did it for 10 years, and it was time for me to do something new. But at one moment, I was in a very bad condition. I was actually almost losing the power between my head and my underbody because of spinal problems. And the doctor, he told me like, man, you really need the surgery because you're losing your strength in your legs. I said, yeah, doctor, but in 2-3 months, it's Boom Festival. I need to be there. And he said, yeah, but you need this surgery. And I say, how long does it take for the surgery? He said, yeah, you will be paralyzed a little bit in the beginning. You really need to start walking again. And I say, yeah, but how fast can I be on your table? Yeah, if you want, Monday, but think about the whole process. It was Thursday. So I said, okay, Monday I will be there. I went to a rave, lost my wallet. I know what was happening with me, so I was totally ready for the operation table. They operated me. I woke up. I didn't feel my tones. They were very concerned that it worked or not. 3 months, I recovered. I trained a lot. And during this recovering, I was looking for a new kind of techno sound. Less aggressive what we did before, but more a little bit psychedelic. And I prepared a set. I booked a flight. My whole crew, the EVENTSURE crew, they went with buses to the Boom Festival, but I couldn't join them because I couldn't sit so long in a bus. So I took a plane on my own to the Boom with my wheelchair and only the music in my back. I went to the Funky Beach Days on day 0, the day when there is the party and the festival not started. And I told them my story, what I did and how I get there. And I say, please let me play. I got 1 hour of time. And at the end, I played 3.5 hours during sunset. And there were lots of people that moment because it's day 0 and many people are there. And then the Human Power Project was born. And that was the story to start playing it. But the first story was actually quite even funnier. It was in 2010. I was in the wheelchair, sitting in front of the lake. And without knowing, there was a photographer and he took a picture of me. And in 2012, I went to the Boom Festival website and there was the word special needs service. And I was like, oh, what an ugly word. So I clicked on the banner and the banner opened and I was on the picture in the wheelchair on my own, spacing in the morning. And I say, hey guys, I'm the one on your website. Yeah, man, this picture inspired us so hard that we had to make a change in our festival because we saw you alone in the morning with no friends around you, just surviving this heavy experience. And we're like, okay, we should start to do something for people. So I was like, okay, if I just can have so much inspiration with a picture, maybe it's time you get a little older to accept yourself. It's like when you are a gay guy, you come out of the closet. For me, it was also like, okay, I've been fighting so hard against my disability. That's who I am today. But if I can inspire people, maybe I just have to raise my voice and start playing as a DJ to inspire people and the nightlife to invest in inclusivity. Because we are all saying the nightlife is inclusive, but so far it's most of the time because we promote the Black community, and most of the time we are totally in for the LGBTQ community, but there are not so many people and not so many artists and campaigns and photos of clubs and whatever about inclusion and inclusion with people with disability.
How is it in Belgium so far with the access for wheelchairs in clubs?
Actually quite good, especially on festivals. We have an organization, Inter, and they're doing a very good job on festivals by bringing a very professional service. And some clubs, in Antwerp, we have quite a lot of clubs that are built by the government also. They're quite accessible just in the design. Some clubs, it's difficult, but there is a vision on if you say, okay, but my club, it's in a basement and we have a stair, so we can't be accessible. Yeah, sorry, but this is bullshit. Okay, you can't change the stair. You don't have the money for an elevator, but you have 4 strong bouncers in front of your door. Why you don't create a protocol that when somebody will arrive with a wheelchair, that you will help him down. And if he needs some help to come up, then let them up. Maybe he can bring 2 friends that are strong enough by themselves to bring them down. And then it's simple as that. And I've been inspiring some locations that made on their website communication, because that's very important. You have to communicate to the people what is a condition they can accept. People with a disability and they don't know what's the adventure they will get in, of if they're welcome, they don't come. If they know it's going to be an adventure, but that they're welcome, and this is the information they can get of your location, then they know what they accept, and they will come and they will prepare themselves for this adventure.
And in Berlin or like other cities in Europe, how was it? Like that sounds like very precise for like the Belgium place. But like for example, when I see in Berlin, there is a lot of stairs like in the venues as well. Like at Berghain, there is a lift like in the back. At Tresor, I'm not sure about that, but like other venues, like it's quite difficult. How do you do it here?
Yeah, for me, it's the most reason why I need my bike for the Berlin nightlife is because of the waiting lines. So for the stairs, I can move myself, but I can imagine if you are stuck in a wheelchair, you can't get out, it's not always easy. But it's an adventure. And I think that if you do a location with all the stairs, then maybe next time you choose another location, but maybe you are ready or your friends are ready to do the stairs with you. I've been talking with some other people last Stadt, nach Acht. We did a panel about inclusion and accessibility. And there were a few guests in my panel with a wheelchair. And they say that many times they are just refused by clubs in Berlin. And it's serious. They will really say, we have our list of clubs that we go to, and we have our list of clubs we are not welcome. And to be honest, I tried to get in Berghain already 4 or 5 times myself, and I never got in. So, like we discussed before, I'm here with EVENTSURE to have a collaboration with Studio Carhartt, because I was like, okay, if I can't make it to Berghain myself with a wheelchair, then I will find another way. And my way is, okay, I'm here with Studio Carhartt, and now let's visit together with Studio Carhartt Berghain. And they say that the building is made to be accessible. But I think sometimes it depends who's in front of the door who makes the decision. And even I was on Amsterdam Dance Event 2 weeks ago, and even there I had a panel, and there was also a young guy sitting in the panel. I don't know, it was Museumnacht, another event. And he also said, yeah, many times I got refused because they say it's because of fire security as an excuse. So I think we just have to be open to it. And it's also accessibility. It's not only wheelchairs. It's also people who can't stand too long. So the advice I want to give in every club, have 5 bar chairs ready in fluo color or something, or a kind of special color, and put it in the middle of the dance floor. The space you use with a bar chair in the middle of the dance floor is exactly the same space as a human body. So why not sometimes can people sit on the dance floor? And you even can get to the wheelchair at the side, because you can sit on a bar chair higher as normal and have fun.
I like the idea. My question now is like, is that possible with a huge crowd dancing around you, not necessarily in a state of mind where they really realize what's happening, especially in a dark place, just like a club, after consume, let it be alcohol or other substances?
Yeah, if you make it like visible, that not with lights, but like visible, like black light reflection or whatever, or maybe a small light, people see this. When I go to a crowd in my wheelchair, I always put lights at the wheelchair, like small lights. When people see a small red light, even when they use something, they see this. Okay, it always can happen that somebody pushes you, but that's the same when you're standing.
Mm-hmm. Like this happens like also like on a dance floor with all the people around you, like that you just like, when you just like go through, you want to go to the bar or to the bathroom or whatever you want to do, just like you go through, and like this mass is always in the movement. And when you dance, like you move without really realizing, you know, like when you start, and like when you spend like an hour dancing, you will never stay on the same spot.
Yeah, but I can say with a wheelchair, sometimes you stand for a long time on the same spot. And if I need a drink, I give my coins to my friends and they will get me a beer.
Of course.
And maybe I go 1 or 2 times a night out of this movement because I need to go to the toilet. But if you're a good raver in a wheelchair or whatever, just stick on the dance floor and enjoy it, And that's one thing that I really don't like today is all these wristbands with your coins on, because you're stuck. If you can't give any more your money, if you can give your money to your friends, if you give your coins to your friends, they can go for you to the bar. If you go to a festival with your coins on your wristbands, you are stuck.
This will never happen in Germany.
No, king is cash.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I was also at ADE a few weeks ago, and I'm not a fan of this whole token system, and like this kind of like to change the mindset of the people, just like going there by changing euros, like to change the currency basically, because like this makes you have a totally different approach on like how you consume things. Plus, as you said, like in your case, like it's difficult because like just because of access, like it's not like the system has a lot of improvement to be able to do. My question is like what does your party look like when you go to a venue, like when you go to a club?
It depends. If I feel okay, I'm a little smaller than somebody else. It depends also in which country I am. When I'm in Amsterdam dance event, it's very like, wow, they are so big, the Holland people. If I'm in Thailand, it's like, okay, I'm fine. I'm just like everybody else. That's also already a big difference. It's like going to toilets. I can say in Berlin, every toilet for a man is quite high. I don't know why, because hygienically, you want it a little slower so it doesn't come back to you. And in some countries, the toilets are just lower. And it's so funny to see. Most men don't recognize, but I recognize it, because you don't want to stand on a toilet where you just have to put it almost on it, And that's sometimes fun. Sometimes I really need to go to a waiting line in a club, and I say, pee or snore? And then they're looking at me, and I say, okay, I go first because I pee. And then they say, fuck it, with you all waiting for doing something else in the toilet,
There's also a big thing in Berlin, like the rooms, just like the toilets are used for substances. I don't know if it would be possible, like to create these special spaces to do whatever people do in there, to allow the other one who really needs to go to the toilet to use it.
I just open my mouth and I say, I really don't fuck it.
But you are like you are. There is many other people that do not, especially like for women, like women are waiting like for so much longer. Like a few clubs here in Berlin like open Flinter toilets, which is an excellent idea, but like it's still nowadays have the feeling that, like from what I heard from my girlfriends, they say like it's even like messed up, and like with all like another different topic that we do have in the club scene right now with gender, like people that do assume themselves as being women do go on the Flinter toilets as well, like this makes them very busy, and like right now you have very, very long lines as well.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you say it, like there is no toilets for disability, people with disability.
Yeah,
like you have to
public spaces have this most of the time, but in clubs
we don't have it.
No. But what we did, if we are still continuing the toilet story, is what I see as a crowd manager. What we do in Belgium, more and more places are just have gender neutral toilets. So women and men together. And it goes much faster. Because the women don't talk anymore too long. They just do their thing. They are not doing makeup and all this thing, is just because the men are also inside. And the men also do just fast their thing and they're gone. So, and it's for many places, it's the solution to have no lines. Because it's just all together in the toilets.
But in Berlin you have lines inside as well, and that takes a very lot of time, even if the toilets are mixed,
Yeah, I say it's not a solution, but it works faster because everybody's doing his job quicker because it's men and women together.
We observed that at AD as well, but in Berlin, like this is unfortunately not the case. I found that there is a different politics. It's a kind of take the time. It's a shit show. I talk show. Yeah. We're talking about enough about what's happening in the clubs. What's happening outside of the clubs? Like you said, like hey, to stay in the line, like what should be your proposition, like to have a better access to these establishments?
The better. I always ask myself, why do you do? First, you need a waiting line so long. Second of all, I would say recommend to people with a wheelchair. They if they have to stand too long in a line, maybe you can help them with skipping the line, you could say, but I don't know if this is the perfect answer, because sometimes you're there with 5-6 friends and you want to get in all together. But be sure on security that they're okay. If it's minus so much degrees and they sit in a wheelchair, it's still different because it's very cold. Also, when it rains and they stay there because of their friends want to stay, yeah, you really get very wet. But at the other side, I also would say, like, why the waiting lines don't have chairs for people who really need it. Not chairs, but why there is no code if you go to a bouncer and you say, sorry, but I want to get in the waiting line, but for me it's very difficult. Can I use a chair like this to sit in the waiting line with my friends? For me, this would be the perfect solution. I go to the bouncer, I ask for this chair, I just open it and sit next to my friends, and I move the chair, slowly. And I'm fine, I don't need this.
Would your case would be possible to give it to all most of the people in wheelchairs? Because like for people who cannot stand up as you do, they can stay. But like in this case, I would say it wouldn't make more sense for people to go directly to the door and to talk to the bouncers. But this also asks a lot of courage, especially in scenes like Berlin, where the door politic is very tough.
Yeah, and I think first of all, you should, as a door policy, have a policy that you know that you're welcome. I did it already, that I went to the bouncer and say, yeah, I want to stand in the waiting line, but I'm welcome with the wheelchair. And then they say, no, you're not welcome with the wheelchair, or there's no place for the wheelchair. Yeah, then I don't have to stand for 2 hours in the waiting line because I know I will be refused. So what's your vision as a club? If you're welcome with a wheelchair or without a wheelchair, then it's quite okay to wait a little bit like everybody else. But if it's a very long waiting line, then you should take care, I think, for the people in the waiting line.
I think that's a very important question that clubs have to answer for themselves, definitely, especially in Berlin, where you have like this kind of very hard politic, and like where, well, at the end, like, I don't think that nowadays, like, of course, there is unfortunately some cases, whatever your origin, like where you're from, your sexuality, how you look like, what you wear, that the politics is like very tough, and that people might misunderstand what's happening at the door. But like in some cases, just as yours, like there's definitely something to do. And what would you say to a club owner or like to a bouncer if that person was sitting in my chair right now?
To a club promoter, I would say, like, first, put the information on your website. What is your vision about this topic? What is the situation of your building? Inform the people. And then second of all, try to be honest and make sure that people are welcome. If you are a really good nightlife space and it's open and free for everybody, then the basic thing is, I think, that everyone is welcome and we don't do any discrimination at the door.
You think there is still a lot of it at the door? Do you experience it regularly?
Discrimination. In Holland, and I hear it still here. I think in Belgium it's quite okay. But I was so shocked last 2 years ago to hear the stories of the guys here in Berlin, and I was also quite shocked to hear the stories in Amsterdam.
We'll make sure your stories go to the right people. Robbe, thanks a lot for sharing your story today.
Yes, with pleasure.
And we keep in touch.